Well, today I want to talk to y'all about this song, Weightless. This concept of 432 hertz music, the meaning behind the song, the inspiration. Yeah. Come on in, y'all. I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to join in. And I'm basically just going to share a little bit about how I made this song. I'm going to talk a little bit about the different parts. We've been getting great feedback regarding this track. Hey, Pink and Gold 22, since we started. Since we released this a couple days ago. So I basically just wanted to be like, let me hop on live and talk to everybody. Thank you very much, Diane. She said it's a nice song. I appreciate that. I really like it. I'm biased. I know. I get it. It is what it is. But I'm going to try to capture everybody's comments by screen recording the actual live, if it'll work. But I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I know I am. Thank you. Everybody says they love it, that it's wonderful. That's great news. I'm going to show y'all a little bit about how it was built, and hopefully this will flesh out a little regarding what we mean with the intention of the song and just kind of what I've been doing lately, working on something nice to give everybody that is just different from the normal situation. You know what I mean? Okay, anyway. Okay. Let me go and open Instagram on my other phone. It's my old phone. This way I can hop on that thing and record what I'm doing. Beep, 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 yeah. Okay, so cutting my volume down. If anybody's new to this whole situation, what you're seeing in the background is my actual mix session. I did actually write this song with my wife, and there's just been so much going on in the world and just with everything that we're kind of at this place where we're like, okay, how do I, who's on the stairs? Oh, hey, Zane. Come over here. Come around here. So I'm sitting here like, let me try to get this live done before the baby get back. Come here. Say hey to everybody. You got a new panda?
Hey.
Say what's going on, y'all?
What's going on, you
Stop talking like a baby. What's going on? I'm just being silly. What do you have? Show everybody.
The panda.
A panda. Are pandas even real? It's funny, ain't it? Isn't it though? So Ava is working. Can I hang out with you in just a few?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Okay, cool. Are you gonna go hang out with mommy downstairs? Mana, okay. Well, even better. Where were you? Tell everybody where you just came from.
We came from IKEA.
IKEA! Mommy has to go to Sweden every now and then, as close as she can get to Sweden in America. So, did you have fun at IKEA? What did you eat there?
We ate fries.
Oh, just fries?
With ketchup and some pear soda.
And some pear soda?
Yeah.
What kind of fries, ketchup, and pear soda is healthy? What in the health situation is going on here? Climate crisis. All right, now run along. Don't trip. Okay. I'll see you. I was like, I knew I heard something downstairs. I'll be down in a bit, okay? I'm just telling everybody about the new song, Weightless. Do you like the new track? Yeah, she just said that. Anyway, live, right? So this track is got a little bit of a special place in my heart because it was inspired by the death of somebody who really was responsible, I think, in introducing me to the behind the curtain, the bigger picture of what's really going on in life. This is a person I got introduced to in 2015 or 2016, and then they passed away in 2018. And that first couple years for me, the last couple years for them, but the first couple years for me was very pivotal in helping me put together the pattern at which these tricks on a global galactic level seem to work. And so it was probably very equally as impactful for my wife as well. And we were in the middle of writing a bunch of ideas. It's 2018, so I want to say we were 2 years into marriage, no kids at this point. We had the time, we were like flying around the world, just doing life. I mean, kids are great, right? Aren't they? But we had the time to actually just be a little bit more chill. And I came up with this guitar riff here. And I'm not gonna make it too belabored, but I'm gonna turn this a little. So the guitar riff, right? This is what inspired the song. Now, the person who passed away, it was a lady. She fought the good fight. We'll say that. There was a lot about what she knew and what she disclosed and what she shared with me and my wife that, a lot of people didn't know, and especially us at the time. And then when she passed, it really, like all deaths for me do, it reinforced the fragility of life. And my wife, who was writing, she's been a songwriter for her whole life, basically. We got to a place where we're like, we want to write something, and we feel inspired to write. Like this person meant so much to us. This process, this new phase of life means so much that we feel inspired to share just something, kind of like honoring this person's life, and just, I don't know, it's like it felt weird not to do something. So in 2018, we came up with it's in a different key, and it goes like this. Up I go, far from here, yeah. So the lyrics, by the way, up I go, far from here, over the hills I roam, light like snow falling in reverse with the weight of the world gone. Because our whole time she was writing it, it's like we have this predisposition to think that life was better, is better here on this side of the veil. But what if that's not true? What if wherever people go when they die, eschatology notwithstanding, that's actually for them in their situation better? Or if the weirdness of the world and the wackiness of the world is going to get so crazy that this beautiful person was actually released, like a favor was given to them by moving them elsewhere before the tragedy. Now, I can't say that applies to everyone in every case. I'm just saying this was what we wrote this song from. And we wrote it in a way where we knew we were heading into a season where a lot of people are dying. Frankly, a lot of people are dying. People have family and loved ones and friends. I just found out today about another friend of mine who just died, just random accident, not even related to a health situation, just died, just drowned. And he could swim, like it was weird. So these types of things mean a little bit more to me now as an adult who is seeing what all is going on in the world and recognizing you can't stop this. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can introduce the truth to people, but you can't make them research. You can't give them discernment. You can't walk them back from the ledge they walk themselves up to for 30, 40, 50, 60 years of bad habits, bad eating habits, bad mental habits, bad spiritual habits. So instead of trying to be like, hey, I can fix everything, we're not trying to do that at all. We're trying to say we can't fix it, but let's just sing about it. And let's do it in a way that hopefully is sonically has enough integrity and truth to actually, bring a tear or two. That's the whole purpose. Was Imogen Heap, one of my favorite artists. She has a quote in one of her songs that music is nothing unless it can make a complete stranger break down and cry. Music is nothing unless it could make a complete stranger break down and cry. Anyway, this is what the song started off, right? Now, this song is in I think A sharp or B flat. And the reason I wrote it in that key is because the seventh of that key, since this has a lot of sevenths, right? This is C. This will be a C major seventh. Hear that? Sadness. Still got that happy C. But it's a little sad, you see. It's a sad, you see, because they were so sad, you see. But the sevenths are actually the 432 hertz. So in the key of A sharp, where A is defined at 440 under standard tuning and 432 under this modified tuning, A major seventh, or technically not A, but the G sharp or whatever, is the seventh, and that is your 432. Sorry, in this is because this is in B flat. A is the 432 hertz, and that, because it's so prominent in the song, is what gives it that 432 every couple seconds you're hearing. So there's a little boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, 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 boom throughout the whole song with multiple different instruments and layers, and I'll show you in a second. But the idea behind it was both scientific, cathartic, and personal. Okay, so it goes. Up I go with a V, falling. Wait, up I go. Oh yeah, I forgot the words. Here we go. So, of course, this is my wife singing this, not me, but I'm just extrapolating. The lyrics go, up I go, far from here, over the hills I roam. Keep in mind it's from the perspective of the person who left. Lying like snow, falling in rivers. The weight of the world gone. The weight of the world gone. And the chorus is just, it just hums. The weight of the world gone, I'm leaving you. And then the song continues, and the lyrics are, far I go from this earth, I have done my all. With the weight of the world, knees were breaking off in two. With the weight of the world gone, I'm leaving you. So far gone, I see my home. And that part of the song, the whole point is that this is an angel, theoretically, hopefully, ideally. And I ran out of space on my phone, so there goes that. But this was a person who, meant a lot to us. And it was written from the perspective of us saying, whoever this person was that impacted us just in the last 2 years of their life, clearly was meant to do. They were put here for such a time as this, we'll say. And I'm just clearing space so that I can actually record this, because I do want to keep this. It was meant to be something that I knew everybody would be experiencing a similar sentiment for soon. I see it, right? The discussion is, we're going back into another lockdown. Oh, okay, well, I know plenty of people are like, well, that's not going to happen. We're not going to take it. Well, okay, but if my unfortunately awful hunch is actually true, it's going to be wild. You're going to have a hard time pretending like it's a hoax when the primer, we'll say, the button is activated, and they hit that button, and like the beginning of all those videos when we saw people falling over in the streets of China, that starts happening here. Or some derivative between that extreme and what we're dealing with now with turbo cancer and all kinds of stuff. I know we're coming up on a season where people are going to be grappling with the grief of loss. And so because we couldn't stop it, we said, well, let's just give people something to help them through it. Honestly, that's honestly the whole impetus behind the song, right? Far, far, far I go. I got my chords right. Keeping in mind, every time you hear that seventh, this is the C major seventh, but again, we're writing this in B flat, so that the major seventh is A, which is at 432, which is giving you that, that boom, 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 boom. And the bass, when we get to the bass, you'll hear, the bass it spends a lot of time around that, that key as well. And the reason, again, it's all strategic. It's all specifically to maximize the amount of time that you're feeling the healing, so to speak, from the toes to the ceiling. So second verse goes, far I go from this earth. I have done my all. With the weight of the world, knees were breaking off in two. With the weight of the world gone, I'm leaving you. Oh, I forgot the chorus. So far gone. That's right, my wife's like, you keep forgetting that turnaround. I see my home bright and clear now. That's the lyrics. Light like snow, falling in reverse with the weight of the world gone. And then it turns back around. It's just meant to be a feeling. Sometimes I don't really know what to say when it comes to the loss of a loved one. It's like your soul just is humming. So, with that said, that was the idea. That's how the song got started. And at first it was just acoustic, just guitar and voice with a little bit of piano. Now keep it in mind, I pitched that whole C down. So instead of the song being like, it's actually up I go. So that the seventh can be what? The 432. That's right. So let me play y'all just a little bit of the skeleton of the track. I think that's the right key. I'll put her vocal back in. So this is, again, my wife singing, not me.
Up I go, far from here. Over the hills I roll.
Again, you're watching this person's soul leave their body, flying over hills and flying like snow. Right? Falling in reverse with the weight. Because I can probably predict it. If any of y'all have lost loved ones, they were likely grieving or suffering prior to them exiting. So this is an ode to hoping that the weight of the world is gone, that they don't carry these burdens anymore. It's very dreamy. Thank you. So, for my music nerds and production heads,
with the weight of the world,
trying to put this in a way where y'all can see me and the screen. There we go. Far I go. And this was the vocal sound like, right? So there's all this vocal production happening. Hear
I
that?
have done my all. With the weight of the world, knees were breaking off.
With the weight of the world, knees were breaking off in two. It's like this world was crushing my knees, y'all.
With the weight of the world gone, I'm leaving you so
Right?
far gone.
So now at this point, they've floated far enough. I see my home bright and clear now. A harmonized duet, bro. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Light like snow,
falling in reverse with the weight of the world gone. I gotta get my metronome without falling off What's up, Lily? So I'm sharing with everybody the skeleton to this track, Weightless. Keeping in mind, everything we're doing in this 432 frequency is designed to kind of like, I don't want to say sound bath you, but it's kind of like a sound bath, a positively inspired bath of sound. We'll say it's a bath of sound. It's not a sound bath, it's a bath with sound in it.
With the weight of the world
Now,
gone, I'm leaving.
I want to play y'all this ending and the inspiration that came around this this song. Thank you, Lily and Connie. I appreciate that. That is exactly what we're going for. People who have trouble, who are struggling and need soothing in their soul. This is very soothing to the soul. So thank you for that. Okay, so this is what the musical layers consist of. So the song started with this. It was the original. Far I go, just the guitars, from this earth. I have done my all. Ooh, yeah, the weight of the world. Then, of course, I'm adding in. Now these are samples from a different song that Jennifer made last December for a completely unrelated project. I was sitting there like, I want samples, and I have a package that uses a lot of really cool sonic samples though. Stuff like this, which I'm using in the hook and stuff like that. And there are some that generate some really cool vocal sonics. I just wanted them to be custom. My wife said, don't forget the piano. Yes, thank you, babe. I wanted them to be custom. So I found a song that we were working on, unrelated, that has to do with the Most High and God helping inspire healing and peace. And I'm like, this is perfect. I can take these samples about peace and trust and flip them into something that's just... So there's all kinds of stuff going underneath. She's saying life. Lead me to life. And I just took the life, right? And don't forget the piano, 6 7's wife. That's fine. So there's just a handful of samples I'm rechopping. Just wait. Wait, yeah. Let's see. Y'all hear those sounds? Okay. So those, combined with the piano that my wife absolutely will not let me forget is there. All right, baby, here you go, right here, the piano. So the original song was honestly this piano loop with the guitar. So the original song sounded like this. There we go. Far from here. I'm trying to remember where I am. When you do it so often, you be forgetting. Over the hills I roam. And then we kind of brought it in with some swells. And what I wanted to do is I was really looking for, the original song was written 3 or 4 years ago with just the piano and guitar. And then when we brought it back, the session back open to flesh it out for y'all to be like, okay, now the world about to like really crumble. And we really should release this as a piece of of like a band-aid, like a emotional band-aid that could help, like a boo-boo when your boo-boo is gone too soon. That's what it's for. So I wanted to add in, let me make sure y'all can hear it, because this is one of my favorite sounds that I added. Can you hear those? A peace offering. That's a great way to put it. These are like tiny violins. This is a synth from Contact called Analog Strings. I think that's the one that this is. And Analog Strings has a lot of these really cool, just like sounds you can generate. Okay, so let me make sure it's on like low latency mode, so it's always a little bit lag. There we go. So with this, y'all hear that? Okay, so this is what's giving you like the sense of movement. Now all this is tuned. This right here is hitting another one of them 432 tickles. It's supposed to be tickling the heartstrings, like all that stuff. On top of that, you have these cellos layered. Oh, wait. Hear that? So, again, more ways to build these chords so that when these sounds come, even though by themselves they don't always stand out, especially if you're not listening for it. The bath of all the sound, the collection of the sound is making the harmonic or the natural of A, which is 432, which is because the song has so many sevenths, even though it's written not in A, but in A sharp. So, with all that said, like snow. Okay, so this is what the song grew into. Falling in reverse. Okay, now, there's all sorts of stuff like this. This is just her harmonies. Which is honestly just the hook. The hook is represented in just those harmonies, which is kind of unique. It's not like you normally do hooks, just hums. Okay, so when all that music is going, the voice is giving you some sevenths and some additional right? Because the goal is to mathematically land on the seventh, or a chord that features the prominent seventh, so that like a solfeggio tone or a binaural beat, it's like you hear the major but you hear this other note. The whole concept of binaural is that there's two different sounds playing in separate ears at the same time, and it's not stereofied like a binaural song, but it is kind of playing off those same principles. So then when you add in my vocals, oh na 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 na. Now I just want y'all to see. Don't let this little collapsed bus fool you. This is how many vocals are in this one little ooh na 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 section. All these are making up the ooh na na na, ooh na 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 na. So you have me, who added these at first, and I said, I like this ooh na na na. I just want something to move the hook a little bit. And then I said, Jen, I want you to come and add some ooh na na na's on top and follow mine. There's mostly ooh na 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 na, ooh na na na, ooh na 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 na. It's mostly the low register, right? But I knew that if I build 6 or 7 stacks of that with a ooh na na na, ooh na 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 na, at the same time as ooh na 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 na, ooh na 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 na, like higher notes, what that would do is it would create my chord in my vocals. And if I layer hers in such a way where the sevenths are slightly louder than my naturals, then it's giving me that binaural major seventh kind of feel again. So then after I recorded mine, she recorded hers. And hers sound like this. Right? Then we're adding in with a little bit of automation on the tail end of that, giving it that like giant wah, that like wash. Oh na 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 na. Oh na 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 na. Right? Then we add in these high ones. And this oh na 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 is giving us that nice. You hear that? And together it sounds like. Oh na 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 na. Right, you do a couple of wild cards, and then when you mix those with her harmonies, then when you mix those with the lead vocal, you hear the with the way. Well, the lead is doing something so subtle that it doesn't stick out. But I'll play the song leading up to that moment. Play.
In rivers.
All those effects are automated so that they disappear when she's singing, and when she stops singing, they
gone.
All right. So this is going on top of the trusty old guitars that are always going. Wrong guitars.
With the weight.
So keeping in mind, this is going at the same time, all right? Then you have all that stuff going, right? So the idea here is that to make a dream, each one of these sounds is like a cloud layer, and they're all kind of like floating you up, and right when one gets too thin, the next one comes underneath to hold you up. It's like kind of what I've been thinking in terms of the ebb and flow of it. And then when you add in the beautiful bass, the bass is what brings it all home. So full. With the weight of the world gone, I'm leaving you. See what I'm saying? That bass keeps that 4 in. 4, 3, 6 minor 6, back to 1. Okay. The bass is not doing those sevens because that just don't sound right. But the bass doing all the naturals is supporting why the seventh can come so much in the bigger sounds that really hit you on the heartstring like that. So again, all together, start with our keys, and then the guitars come in as the vocal comes in.
Up I go,
Far from here, far from here. There's harmonies and all this stuff.
over the hills I roam. Light like snow falling in rivers.
With the weight of the world. Okay, so with the bass included, this is about 150 tracks of stuff smushed together. Now keeping in mind, I'm doing stuff the whole time that I haven't really mentioned because it's not that exciting, but it's all these what I call movement things. This is my track of my soundscapes, which is just different things that lead in. Just a one, yeah, is that all? It's 150 tracks because I've done a super solid job of consolidation. Normally it's like 300 something, but this song was just a acoustic guitar that was stereo, like 2 performances of acoustic, the vocal, the harmonies, which were kind of already pre-processed in a separate session from 3 years ago, and the piano. So it was 5 tracks, and I made it into 150 tracks when we brought it back up to flesh out for release. But you hear these little these are all my transition moments. So all that stuff's its own stuff, and then you have your main harmonies. Then you have your ooh na na nas. Then we have our rev, our little all that stuff. Then we have our on the top, right? Then we have our cellos. Now, and I've learned this with mixing and production is that you have to really think about your audience and how they listen. Most people listen to music on their iPhone. So the cello sound, this one right here, I'm gonna move it to the center channel so I can hear it better. Oh, na 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 na. Okay, this is my bass for iPhone speakers. So because iPhone speakers cannot replicate low bass, I have a bass that's not really a bass, it's just a cello that's giving the low end perception for the small speakers that can't reproduce the real bass that comes out the subwoofer, because the actual bass is more full. But the two are working together. Okay, so this is our song, and as it progresses, this is the part where we're building it out, and I said, babe, we're making this song, and I'm like, this is working, it's getting there, but my ear just feels like it wants to build. It's like your emotions are swelling. People are realizing maybe it's okay if this loved one or friend is elsewhere. It sucks because I miss them, but maybe from their perspective, they are in a better place. And so we wanted to kind of bring that anticipation forward with the just the way that the song ended. So now, keeping in mind, this was an acoustic song up until like a week ago. And I have this thing where when I'm tracking guitar, I don't like just listening to the metronome, right? So it's cool, it's all right? But because you're concentrating on all these parts, I fall off the time. So what I do is I usually find a drum loop or a drum sample that I think has the right groove so that I can play to something, and then I mute the drum once I'm done. Ask me why. I found this one drum sample, I was like, okay, this has got the right groove. And I muted it, right? Built the whole track. And we're almost done with what we thought was the original version of this song. And I'm like, man, it's like my ear just wants to keep I don't know. It's like it just needs to build. And so I happened to be cleaning up the session and I unmuted the drum track. And I said, yo, this could work. But to get the right groove, I'm merging 2 ideas, right? So I have this loop, but full disclosure, a lot of inspiration for my recent songwriting and production has come from this artist named John Bellion. And he just completed this track. I think his stuff is dope. And he just finished his whole project with Tori Kelly. And I'm not classically a Tori Kelly fan, but I do listen to Tori's music just to get notes on how to do stuff for my wife's project, because they have similar style genre voices. And I remember being like, yo, this song that she has called Young Gun with John Bellion, Tori Kelly and John Bellion, I'm like, this has this drum, this Pascal-esque kind of EDM electronica drum treatment that's all synth percussion. There's no kick or anything. I said, this is the type of feel that could move the track pacing for Weightless forward, but won't overtake the feel with kick and all this stuff. So the initial idea that I put together for the drum percussion stuff was this. Right? Okay. All right. Woo. Okay. Say what? You hear that? It's just this stuff on the top. So the song sounds, and this comes in what would be the second hook, right? Right? And again, this whole point of this crafting of this track is to be something that emotes, that brings something out of you. And I just wanted some movement or some pacing, honestly, pacing. So we added this, yeah. It was just this, and the song ended kind of like this. I'll show you. It kind of had 2 or 3 of these little sections. And it just kind of rolled out all the way to heaven now. And I add some of these like pianos at the tail end. Y'all can hear all this like. Y'all hear that? That's just piano that I'm adding on top. Just to give it some like some left-right activity. Right? Just a little boop, 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 just a little pluckity, right? But the song ended like this until I accidentally, one time by accident, unmuted this track. And I was like, oh, snap. Hold on. Woo! Hey. Ha! What? Ha! What? I was like, oh, my chest can't stop beating on it. Oh, it's so funky. Talking about I'm so funky. I need a shower and some lemons and limes to get away all the stanky funky. Whoa! It was just so like, it felt like hopscotch. It had that lovely pocket. It's like the snare is just a little after the beat. Hey! And I said, babe, listen, I know this was supposed to be an acoustic song. I know you're going for like a soft thing, but I said this song really just I feel like the drums, I feel like there could be a thing, right? So I'm putting these mixes together, and one night, some accidents are bad. You're absolutely right. I love these happy accidents. This was totally a happy accident. And I said, I was about to delete this track. I was just unmuting it to see what this was before I could delete it. And I was like, this groove. I said, babe, can we make an extended version? Can we make the main track just like we always thought? And then can we add like another 16 bars to this extension? Or 8 bars of an extension, just to kind of make a vamp version that we can put on the end of the album. Well, I suppose, I'm being facetious. She did like the idea, but she said, yeah, we can, but let's just, will you ever get around to making the extended version? I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm kind of making them both at the same time. Long story short, the extended version became the main version because everybody liked that part so much, including myself. So this is drum loop, which is just a loop. It's just dope. Hey, so groovy. Hey! Woo! It feels like how you want to dance when you get to heaven. All the angels be shaking their booty like, welcome to heaven. Well, welcome. How you doing? And there ain't no 7-Eleven, cause everything is fruit and off the tree. Just pluck and eat like, ooh. Working with the most high. Acting whatever, but acting so fly. Come on, can you not even deny that it's better on the other side? Like, bye. Right? This is what I'm thinking in my head as I'm like fighting this with trying to keep the song chill, right? But I would let a couple friends hear an early mix of it, and I go, what do y'all think of this version with or without the drums? And everybody was like, the drums version, hello, but I want to hear more of it. I want to hear more. So we threw some clever back and forth. We settled on a happy medium. So again, the drums come in, and then on top of that is those John Bellion inspired. These are separate, right? That's one thing. And then the drums come in underneath it like this. Hey, that. Hey. Come on, 1, 2. Shake it, shoulder, shake it, light up. So this part became so cool. We like looped it and kept it going. I was like, we want to hear more. And it's cool. It added like a whole another minute to the song, but I'm like, whatever. This is not about radio. This is about the right feeling. And when you find the right groove to represent something like the loss of loved one, my opinion is that it can go on for a doggone hour. And as long as everybody's grooving, it's fine. Right, so it comes in. So what we did is, instead of looping that one section, oh, you can't see that part. Instead of looping this whole section here with just I brought those drums in a little sooner. So I was like, but wait for it. It's like waiting for the drop. It's literally like the drop in an EDM song. And the drop is like what everybody's waiting for, right? I was like, I want to milk it, but not too long. Because we're already like 3 minutes or something like that into the song. Okay, boom. Then that comes out. Thank you, Garden Moose. I'm just speaking the truth. Trying to beat the hill into you. Trying to make the freedom come through within your bones. I'm with the music, with the song. You can sing and you can sing right along. Just being silly on the microphone, like lift my shoulder up, lift your spirits up, lift the double cup. Hey, you know what's up. Okay, I'm gonna stop being silly. Anyway, this is essentially my tale of how distant voices. Oh wait, I muted this whole track earlier and I forgot to unmute it because there's a lot of la ba 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 la ba 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 yeah, this stuff. Where's my yeah? Yeah. Whoa. There's all that stuff's going on all the time. Yeah. And you see that? So this is me going, her going, yeah. Right? She's just saying yeah, but then I'm trailing it with this effect that I put this whole reverb effect called Supermassive on her voice. I exported and reversed it, and then put a separate crystallizer effect on the reversing, bounce that, and then re-imported that and reversed it again. So you have an effect going in backwards leading into her otherwise word going in forward. You hear that? Yeah. Right? That's like double time flip the flopty. And so I'm using the swells. Yeah. And I'm stopping the waveform, stopping the sample early to give me that, and it gives me this pump and this lift, right? You can hear it best here. Yeah. You hear that? All that stuff. Yeah. That's giving me this like feeling that I'm going for. And combined with the solfeggios and combined with the 432, that seventh hitting that 432 constantly. That is, because even this whole time the guitars are going. That right now, that note right there, and that's the note that answers that prayer and hits you right at there. That's why it can work in here, and you can keep hitting the note all song, even though it's seventh. You sing along. You can keep it like this right now. That's why the seven works so great. 432 hertz, can I hit you in the contemplate? See what I mean? So it's a little bit of science involved in how you have to set it all up, if it's not just like a giant salad of sound. Dun, dun, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. That's the 432 one. Dun, so anytime this note dun, 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 is in the whole song, it's stitching your heart back together. Hear how even though the chords changed, something is doing that. Dun, 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 dun. Down, 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 that 432, that beat coming into that frequency, healing you, that beat, boop, 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 oh baby, baby. Okay. So when I cut back on her vocal,
like snow,
now it all comes back.
Falling in rivers. With the weight of the
it's even in the turn right now. The cello. Anyway, this is what the song is feeling like, y'all. We having a whole good time. So, if you want to hear the whole song, the link to this is in my bio. Go check it out and share it with somebody. Anybody you think might have lost someone, just like, yo, I know this song is literally about helping you get through the loss of a friend. Positioning that maybe that friend is going to a better place. Very floaty. Thank you, Sadie Flint. With the weight of the world, gone, I'm leaving you. Yeah, woo. Hey. With the weight of the world, gone, I'm leaving you. With the weight of the world, gone, yeah. With the weight of the world, gone, yeah. I imagine people singing this and dedicating it to like Auntie Janet and Uncle Earl. Auntie Janet, you made the best cupcakes. Uncle Earl, I would let me stay late. Oh, but you gone too soon. Oh, but I'm opening up the window. Oh, I love you. I miss you so. Miss you so. Oh, I love you. Just little like ad-libs over the top. And we're thinking of even making just like when it comes to the film and video, like movie thing we're building, just like letting this be a long transition and having it just really float out. I just like the way this ending. She did those ad-libs, and at first I was like, I don't really like the ad-libs at the end. You like them? I'm like, yeah, baby, they're great. It's the sentiment, right? It's the emotion you're going for. What I thought was really awesome is, I'm just gonna loop this tail in. Hey. This was another happy accident. When the beat was going, I had this solo and like this. I said, yo, instead of just ending it equally, I should end it with this type of riff right here. It's just, I don't know, maybe y'all can feel what I'm trying to say. This to me encapsulates the like the angels clapping as you're like walking on the clouds into the pearly gates and Peter's like, see, Yeshua wanted to see you right over there, the big man. Well done, my good and faithful servant. It's like, this is what you want the heavenly choir to be playing, at least what I want them to be playing when my time is called, you know what I mean? Oh, na 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 na. Right? And then I think I have a couple of these in there. Y'all hear that life? Bring me to life. Lead me to life. It's your victory dance. That's right, Sadie Flint. This is what my victory dance is gonna sound like. Wait for him, baby. I'm gonna be moonwalking. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Choose life, right? Choose life. Choose. All right. That's right. That's right. So now y'all get to see a little bit about how this process works. I'm gonna wrap this one up pretty soon. But I really do love and appreciate all the great feedback we've been given from this song so far. What up, Jay Vincent? I'm breaking up this musical session. Remember that, the transition? There is a lot going on, but the idea is like that tends to be my both visual style and my music style, where there's a lot going on, but it's all like working together, hopefully, and your ear just hears all this stuff, and you pick out the things that you like, and then you hear it again, and you're like, oh, I didn't even hear that part over there, and you hear it again, you're like, wait, hold on, that's going on too? That's why. And that's partially why I show y'all, so that you do see that there is a lot going on, right? Even in the Oh Na Na Na, there's like all these tracks. Oh na 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 na. Oh na 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 na. Let's put our bass back in and our drums. Get that 432 like whoa, oh 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 oh. Oh, that's my seventh thing, right? All my music there is like, no, you're wrong. It's actually this. The flat and third diminutive natural matrix 7 at 9. That's right, Jay. Ear candy. I'm gonna crank this one. So I'm adding in these to taste. That's the whole sample, right? That's the whole sample. It's the whole sample. I'm basically just taking. Yeah, I'm just working with those 5 samples for this track, which again are from a different song about life and about the Most High. So we're kind of sprinkling some of our beliefs and some of our inspiration, both into the creation and into the final product of the song. What up, Mackie? How you doing, brother? So, for anybody who's lost someone, hopefully this is what they sound like when they're flying through wherever they're flying through to get to wherever they're going next. So, with that said, y'all, I'm just gonna let this vamp out, unsolo all this stuff, starting with our lovely piano that then leads straight into.
Up I go.
I'll play it one more time through, and then we'll wrap it from here.
From here.
Over the hills I roam. Maybe one day we'll do an acoustic version. Okay.
light like snow, falling in rivers.
Hear the cellos.
With the weight of the world.
Rain falling in reverse. You just want to I'm trying to basically create the sound. Thank you so much, Dave. Trying to create the sound for what she's saying, and hopefully that the visual and the song is painting the same picture as the words. This one's dedicated to anybody who lost anybody. I honestly do have this kind of feeling that we're in this season that a lot of people will experience loss in a way that is unprecedented. So we wanted to do our part in saying, listen, I don't know how to make it all right. Here's a song that hopefully you can put on your playlist or put and download or whatever and put on repeat. And if you got speakers that are big enough, crank it, because the physical vibration of it will work even better than headphones.
With the weight of the world.
Knees were breaking. When the weight of the world, knees were breaking off into. I like that line because it's like the world, it got so heavy, it started crushing them. You know what I mean? So far away and gone, I see my home. Thank you, La Rosa. This is gorgeous, truly flawless. I really do appreciate that, and I'm sure my wife does too. We kind of scrutinize and meticulous over the electronics of it all. But yeah, I mean, for any of my super duper nerds, this whole desk is set up to run through a lot of this gear. Like right now, the whole mix is going through this. I push those two buttons, it bypasses the whole. I think I turned it off. It bypasses the whole mix because the music is being processed through these units, through those units over there in real time. And because I turned this one off, it takes like a second to start back up. And it's giving you that butter, that really satiny, softy, like bougie butter. There we go. Now it's back. But this is an EQ to make it nice and pretty, nice and sweet, nice and saucy. A multi-band compressor over there, the blue one with all the knobs, multi-band compressor, and then that's an SSL, kind of like a total compressor. And then this 1176 clone down here, this black one, is doing parallel compression on the vocal. So it's compressing the vocal at the same time, dry, and then with all the effects on it, giving it a lift above all the music. And these two units are not they're being used for this mic that I'm talking in right now. So, as somebody said, thank you for breaking this down. At some point, it would be so cool to take, or it'd be cool to take some sort of music composition class from you. Bougie butter. That's like, I like that bougie butter. Yeah, I thought about like blogging a little bit more about my music composition, and I'm happy to do it. If you drop me a DM or a line if that's what you are interested in. It's just a whole lot going on. I got work, I got clients, I got personal projects, I got my wife's project, I got a baby and a baby on the way. It's like, there's a whole lot. Who got time to breathe these days? I'm just trying to get oxygen in and out, inhale, exhale. That's what I'm working on right now. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. I love this part, right? Just the vamp out of the owl part. With his drums, oh, y'all gotta love the drums, right? Y'all hear it? It's like, oh, it's so nice. With the hey! I had to find that. And then I pitched it. And then I pitched it down. I pitched it up, actually. Thank you, Oh World Morrow. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Accomplishment with sound. Respect and congratulations. I really do appreciate you saying that. This is Weightless, y'all. It's written in 432. It's written in 432. Yeah. Where's my... Here we go. My wavy wave. Okay, this is what the song's written in, right? This is actually my 7th. So when you hear this sound right here, you hear that? That's that 432 wave coming in to give y'all some more of that good loving on the bottom end during the hooks. Anyway, this note right here, this is it, y'all. And some of these settings are such where, I'm this particular plugin, I'm just changing. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm changing to 432 with this other plugin. It's a shifter, like a frequency shifter plugin. Some of them have 432 built in. Some of them, like my piano over here, I can set it. My voice, obviously, we sing directly in it. Some of, like my guitar, this guitar is tuned into it, which is why, even though it's acoustic and it's not necessarily matching all the instrumentation. Just gonna mute the vocal for a second. Still in the right. My elbow's hitting it. Do you hear that? There we go. So the guitar still works because it's in the right. Okay. I didn't play it. I played it with capo. It's been a while since I tried the guitar on this one. Anyway, y'all, I'm about to go. I'm being silly. I'm about to go eat me some food. Yeah. Hopefully my wife ain't been watching this live stream and she be working on dinner. Hopefully. I made you a whole record, baby. At least you can make me as a plate. I'm just being silly. She probably is working on it. Hopefully. All right, y'all. Have a great night. We're not gonna do no lives tonight or no collabs tonight. Mostly because when I do it, this whole soundboard will just stop working and it goes out of my iPhone speaker because it can't do the soundboard with a live stream. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, y'all, check out the song. The link to it is in my bio. It's called Weightless. I hope y'all have a good night.